do I have to believe in the Bible if I'm thinking about being a Christian? Is that something I have to believe in? And why should I? Why should I trust it?
Yeah, I think we live in a country that was built on Judeo-Christian ethics. And so folks would say, well, I'm a Christian. If I'm something, I'm a Christian. And what does exactly being a Christian mean? There's a outspoken atheist, Richard Dawkins, professor, I believe, at Oxford, who is very, very clear about his disinterest in ever acknowledging the existence of God. No room to maneuver there. But who just in the last couple of years has come out and said that he's a cultural Christian, which was sent shockwaves. He explained it. He likes the sound of organ music in a majestic cathedral setting. He loves the sound of Christmas carols through the month of December. So culturally, he likes that. And he would probably say, as opposed to some of the other options for world religions, Christianity has some minor benefits. Richard Dawkins would say that. But I don't know if cultural Christianity actually isn't some sort of oxymoron, if those two things can't and don't belong together. Jesus talked about what it meant to be a Christian and follow him in the Sermon on the Mount, and explained a whole bunch of really cool stuff. It's worth reading. Sermon on the Mount, it's in one of the biographies of Jesus, Matthew, from chapter 5, 6, and 7. If you wanted to start reading your Bible, you could start there. He finishes with this kind of like a last shot where he says, hey, the person who hears my words but doesn't put them into practice is like a person who builds a house on the sand. The rains come, the storm, waters rise, and that house is destroyed. The house is often used as a biblical picture of a person's life. But the person who hears my words and puts them into practice is like a person who builds his house on the rock. Rain still come, water still rise, but that house stands. And so it's pretty clear that when Jesus is talking about a Christian, it's someone who's putting into practice the things that he's taught. Maybe the person is saying, do I have to believe all of the Bible to be a Christian? Is it all like, there's kosher laws in there, they'll steer you away from lobster, take your pork chop away. Do I have to do all of that? And there's sacrificial laws too. And so I would say no, and you're going to have to read the whole thing at some point, because Jesus came to say, I've come to fulfill all of that, and not, I've come to wipe that all clean. We don't have to worry about the Old Testament anymore. If you read the Old Testament, it really points to Jesus. And so for sure, we're going to talk later about where you might start in reading your Bible, but we would say none of it can be thrown away, even the really hard parts. And there's some difficult, gross parts. Last point I would say is, do I have to trust it? Can I trust it? And I think it's important for everybody to realize that they are trusting something, someone. I talk to some young adults, and they're really into a podcast. They really love this one podcast person. And then a couple months later, I'll ask, and they've changed. It's a new person, new influencer, which is fair and fine. I'm the same way. I sort of hit these things in spurts and starts. But everyone's trusting in something, someone. And so I find myself, and I think this is the way it works for Christians, is I'm going to trust Jesus. Yeah. When I look at Jesus, he seems to have trusted the Bible a lot, enough to memorize it. And so I'm going to take my cues from him. Are there troubling bits in the Bible? Are there pieces that don't make as much sense to our rationalistic, scientific approach to life? For sure. But I think all of them are worth sort of peeling the layers back on, going a little deeper on it.